I want to say this loud and clear. You don't have to hit a breaking point to deserve a break. There is this common story out there that rest is something you earn after you have pushed yourself to the limit. Like you have to be totally exhausted before you are allowed to pause. But here is the truth. Rest isn't a price you get after struggle. It's essential for being successful in the long run. You are absolutely allowed. No, to be honest, you deserve to build rest into your life on the regular without guilt. Welcome to Soul Time, a show that explores the world of unlocking your unique potential. My name is Dr. Katja Makowka and I'm a teacher at school, a former teacher at universities and a stress and mental coach. And I'm your host. Let's just get this out of the way. Feeling stressed doesn't mean you are weak. It doesn't mean you are broken. It doesn't mean you are failing. It means your nervous system is responding to something. And probably too many somethings all at once. Stress is our system's way of saying, this is too much, too fast, too often. It's not a flaw, it's a signal that your body and your mind is sending. And the first step to shifting that isn't another productivity hack. It's not powering through. We hear it all the time. Push through, keep going, hustle harder. But here is the truth. Being strong doesn't mean being hard on yourself. Real strength sometimes looks like pausing, like letting go, like choosing softness in a world that keeps asking you to be tough. And grace means making room for your full humanity, even when you are still showing up, still doing the work. It's actually this. Stop judging yourself for being stressed. Because when you stop judging it, you can start listening to it. You can start asking yourself, what is this feeling trying to tell me? And where I'm pushing too hard? Or what's asking for more space, more rest, or more clarity? Stress is uncomfortable for sure, but it's also information, feedback. And when we treat it like a message instead of a weakness, we can respond with intention, with compassion, with care, instead of just reacting out of exhaustion. So before we dive into the tools, take a break and take a deep breath. This isn't about fixing yourself. This is about learning to tune in, because that's where real shift begins. Let go of the guilt that says you should be further now. You should be pushed harder. You are allowed to move at a pace that honors your energy, your needs, your capacity, and your truth. And stress doesn't always show up as a loud emergency call. Sometimes it's subtle, sneaky, slow building. So what are your chaos cues? Maybe it's when you have 37 tabs open on your browser and in your brain. Maybe you are rushing, snapping at people, skipping meals, forgetting things, or constantly overlooking your needs and overbooking yourself. You can't calm what you are not aware of. Let's talk about a simple, powerful way to take back control when everything feels like it's pulling you in a million directions. I call it the priority and boundary hack. And it's all about tuning into what truly matters to you and protecting your energy like the valuable resource it is. Start by making a list of all the things demanding your time and attention right now. It could be work projects, favors you've been asked for, meetings, social plans, anything filling up your mental and emotional space. Now, here is the magic question to ask yourself for each one of these tasks. Does this really align with my core goals or core values? Does it bring me joy, growth, or something kind of peace? Am I genuinely responsible for this, or am I just saying yes because it's expected or easier than saying no? If your answers is not really, or if it feels like a heavy yes rather than a wholehearted one, that's your cue. Those are the things that might be lower priority or places where you can set some much needed boundaries. So pay attention to how you feel as you go through this list. Are you energized by some tasks? Neutral about others? And do some leave you feeling drained or even a little resentful? Those are exactly the ones to be mindful of. They are calling for clear, kind boundaries. And setting boundaries doesn't have to be complicated or harsh. It can be as simple as saying, I'm focusing on what matters most to me right now, so I can't take this one. Or I need to protect my energy and time to do my best work. Sometimes just giving yourself permission to say, let me get back to you later, can be the reset you need to decide if it's really worth your yes or not. Remember this, protect what fuels you and gently release what drains you. When you do that, you are not only honoring your priorities, you are also creating space to show up as your best self, your most vibrant self. And don't forget, sometimes the pressure comes not from what we have to do, but from how we are holding it. But knowing what stresses us is only half the battle. What do we actually do when the pressure hits? Stress isn't about luxurious bubble baths or fancy yoga retreats. Though, hey, those can be lovely. Don't get me wrong. What really helps when things feel overwhelming are small, simple rituals that gently bring you back to yourself. Think of these moments as little anchors throughout your day-to-day life. Kind reminders to your nervous system that everything is okay, that you are safe, that you are right here, right now. And these aren't quick distractions or temporary fixes. They help you and your body and your mind reset in a way that lasts. Maybe it's something like taking a slow, grounding breath before you dive into your inbox or the chaos of your day. Or giving yourself just 5 minutes in the morning, phone off, to simply breathe and tune into your own rhythm. Sometimes lighting a candle as you work can create a calm focus that changes the whole vibe. Even a gentle stretch between tasks isn't just about moving your body. It's a change to refresh your mind too. And stepping outside for a moment to feel the sun on your face, listen to the world around you. That's a quiet way to reconnect and recharge. And these little rituals might seem small, but over time they build a steady foundation inside you. And here is the most important part. This kind of self-regulation isn't extra. It's absolutely necessary. The more you practice these anchor moments, the stronger your capacity becomes to handle whatever life throws your way. All right, now that we have covered those tiny anchor moments, the small but powerful rituals that really grounds us, let's switch and talk about a mindset shift that just as game-changing, but often flies under the radar. I want to say this loud and clear. You don't have to hit a breaking point to deserve a break. There is this common story out there that rest is something you earn after you have pushed yourself to the limit. Like you have to be totally exhausted before you are allowed to pause. But here is the truth. Rest isn't a price you get after struggle. It's essential for being successful in the long run. You are absolutely allowed. No, to be honest, you deserve to build rest into your life on the regular without guilt. And that means letting go of that voice inside that whisper, I can't slow down yet, or I will rest once I'm done. When guilt starts to whisper that you should be doing more, remind yourself. Taking time to rest isn't a sign of weakness. It's an act of courage and an act of self-respect and an act of self-love. You don't have to prove your value by doing things non-stop for everyone. You are worthy of taking care of yourself. Giving yourself permission to pause is one of the bravest things you can do. And let's be clear, you can't pour from an empty cup. If you want to be successful and be there for your loved ones in the long run, rest isn't optional. It's a requirement. It's non-negotiable. One of the biggest traps we fall into is thinking, I will rest when I finish this project, like I said before, or I will take a break when Friday comes, or even I deserve rest after this deadline, or next vacation, or probably next year. But here is the truth. Waiting for permission to rest, waiting for the right time isn't helpful at all. Now, I know what you might be thinking. You say this like it's easy. I can't just stop. I have too much or so much to do, so many responsibilities. You don't really know my life. And you are right. I don't know your exact stories, your deadlines, or your pressures. But what I do know is that pushing yourself without pause doesn't make those tasks go away faster or easier. In fact, it often makes things harder. Rest isn't a reward you earn after working yourself to the bone. It's a fundamental need, just like eating or sleeping or breathing. When we put rest on hold, telling ourselves we have to push through first, we are actually draining our energy reserves faster. The more we delay rest, the harder it becomes to perform, think clearly, or show up fully. And to be honest, do you want this for your kids or students? Do you want to see them break down? Do you want to be that kind of role model? The one who teaches that we aren't worthy of rest? Think about it. If you wait for Friday, what happens on Monday? If you wait for the end of the project, what happens when the next one arrives? The cycle never really ends. Life will always demand more from you. And that's why rest isn't something to be scheduled only for later. The power is in reclaiming rest as a non-negotiable part of your daily life. It can be 5 minutes of deep breathing in the middle of a hectic day, a short walk outside, or even just closing your eyes for a moment to reset your mind. These small moments of pause keep you grounded, clear-headed, and sustainable over time. So don't wait for permission from your boss, your calendar, or even from yourself to rest. Give yourself that permission right now. Your body, mind, and your soul will thank you. And your work will reflect it too. And now that we have talked about giving ourselves permission to rest, let's get real about how we can show up for ourselves when stress hits hard. When stress is in the driver's seat, how you talk to yourself matters more than you might realize. Stress can shrink your world, make every day and everything feel worse and heavier, and leave you feeling stuck and overwhelmed. But here's the thing: kindness toward yourself. That's what opens up space again. It lets you breathe, see things clearer, and find the strength to keep going. When your mind starts spinning and the pressure builds up, your inner voice has a choice. It can calm you down or can drag you down into overwhelm. You don't have to believe every negative and destructive thought that came up. You can choose and create the self-talk you want to. And you don't have to be tough on yourself to be strong or responsible. In fact, you can be gentle and powerful all at once. Try this small shift in your self-talk. For example, instead of beating yourself up with, "Why can I not handle this? I won't make it." Try telling yourself, "This feels really hard right now, and that's okay, and I'm doing the best I can." Remember, needing kindness doesn't mean you are weak. It means you are wise enough to give yourself what you truly need: encouragement, compassion, and empathy. Choose every day to speak to yourself the way you would to a close friend or someone you deeply love, because that's exactly what you deserve. Life gets overwhelming. There is no denying that. The noise, the deadlines, the endless to-dos, they pill up and press down on us. But what if moving through stress didn't have to feel like a burden or a battle? What if instead you could find steady anchors to hold you, rest that actually recharges you, and self-compassion that gently carries you forward? That's what moving through stress with intention really looks like. It's not about having everything figured out or waiting for the perfect moment to breathe. It's about choosing again and again to slow down within the chaos, to meet yourself with the kindness when the world feels like it's pulling you apart. Because here is the real secret. You can be stressed and still move with intention. Life isn't going to pause or get easier just because we want it to. Challenges, chaos, and uncertainty will keep knocking at the door. But you have the power to slow down, to create space for grace, even if it's just for 5 minutes. So, today I want you to ask yourself, what does grace look like for me right here, right now? You don't have to carry the weight alone. You don't have to fight stress with force or grit. You can move through it with softness, with presence, with a quiet kind of strength that doesn't need to shoot to be heard. And that's the way forward. That's your power. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to Soul Time. I'm very grateful because you have given me the greatest treasure of your life, your time. If you enjoyed this episode, click the subscribe button so that you get a notification every time a new episode is out.